I do want to introduce to you which I would call a good friend, Adam Peters. Adam, come on up. Adam is, maybe will clarify this and give you a better term of what he is, but I call him a lay evangelist who has decided on his own to raise his own money and to be here in Nebraska, in Lincoln, particularly at the University of Nebraska, working with the chapel there, but also just looking for opportunities to share God's love. And Adam is part of our group that meets on Friday. It's our life group, and there's a lot of times when he's busy and can't be there, but more often he is. And Adam, you just went on a wonderful trip that we have a little bit to do about, we know about. Would you tell us about that and continue and talk about perhaps open doors in that?
Sure. Yeah. So we just spent it was an 8-day trip. We took 12 students, Pastor Bill, myself, a dentist, and 12 students, so 15 in the group total. And we went down to Haiti. It was kind of a twofold mission from the chapel. One was just to live out the gospel and be sacrificial, sleep in a really hot, muggy, mosquito-ridden orphanage. And we laugh, I laugh. But then that's what they see best every night down there. And so, so that was one, was to be down there and be a blessing to those people and help them out, help them become self-sufficient, teach them, disciple them. The other thing was just to expose our students to that. And it was really awesome in that regard as far as being able to challenge them. One of the things that's been through my mind, and I've been blessed, I've been able to go to Africa as well. It hits me that the whole, not the whole world, sorry, a large majority of the world lives in poverty. It's pretty incredible, and it really hits you hard when you're taking that 2-hour bus ride, 50 or 55 miles from Port-au-Prince out into the village where we were going, and you see tent cities that just stink, and you see houses that are run down, that are very small, nothing that we would ever let ourselves live in, most likely. And yet somehow we've let our brothers and sisters in Christ in Haiti live that way. And so, that's a big thing that hit me hard, was that, Adam, come on, and a friend of mine told me, that God's plan for them is us, and so it's that's the most difficult thing. And so what about open doors? I think God's call in our lives, and I'm not one to sugarcoat things much. I like to say kind of how it is, and I believe He's called us. And whether it's overseas, maybe you're not called to go to Haiti, or maybe it's somewhere else, or maybe it's right here. Jesus says, go to Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and the ends of the earth. So that's kind of like your city, your state, your country, and around the world. And so we're called in all those areas. And so what do open doors look like? And I think, those they're all around. And just so you combine Colossians 4, pray steadfastly for this. And I'm convicted myself that I and maybe our church body as a whole kind of gives prayer lip service. Okay, God, help me with this or whatever. But do we really boldly pray for that? And I think it's Matthew 7, where Jesus says, He's given the parable of the father, an unrighteous father. The son asked for a fish. Would He give him a snake? No, of course not. So how much more so would a righteous father, when we ask for spiritual food, give him plenty? And so just being in prayers for those open doors is an awesome step. And God provides. But the hard thing is seeing those doors, I think, because it's tough. And it calls for letting go, and letting go of some things in the world. I think we see an open door, we slam it back shut, and deadbolt it. Oh, that one, ooh, I don't like that open door. That was tough, and that's not convenient for me. And so, that must not be an open door. So that's something just to be praying about, what that looks like. I know in my own life, God has led me to, I live in the basement of the chapel, and I kind of depend on the guys that live with me to help do maintenance, do other ministry things at the chapel. God has led me to kind of sacrifice one of those spots and to bring in someone that's blind, needs a lot more than he's able to give right now, and so that's been a big sacrifice. But at the same time, last night, he moved in on Thursday. I've never cried tears of joy before. I did last night. Just the most fulfilling thing when we start to let go of the worldly things and walk through those open doors and let people walk in through that open door into our lives, like the intense joy that comes from that. And what a blessing it is to live in faith and to live with a deep sense of fulfillment. So anything else you'd like me to add?
That's wonderful. You kept it tight as I asked you to. Can you tell us a little bit more about what your group actually did in Haiti?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So we, the goal there is to help with their becoming self-sufficient and help them teach the others how to disciple. So the Great Commission is to go and teach and tell them my ways. Essentially, I'm not a details guy, so I can't get you word for word. And so our hope then is that we're partnering with an orphanage, and then that orphanage is helping them not bring in American consumerism or materialism, but trying to help with that orphanage, with those children to be able to be self-sustaining. And so one of the things that we're working on is a clean water project. They're going to sell clean water to the village. The money that they make off of that will then go towards the tuition for the children for school, so they can become more educated, so they can have things like doctors. One of the things that was, we had a student that was sick. I don't think it was from the food, I think it was from some other things, but was sick for a whole day, puking in a day. She was like, "This is a terrible place to be sick." We're like, and it's like, yeah, that's right. That's what they live in, and they don't have the doctors and stuff that we do. And so helping them get an education as well. One of the long-term projects is a tilapia farm. We didn't get to work on that one yet. That one's still kind of off in the distance, but helping them and then teach them how to work. The most exciting thing is that the orphanage children are the future of that country. There's a lot of corruption within the government, but the vision I think a lot of people see down there is that they can teach and train their orphanage children to be disciples, and we give them support as far as helping them get on their feet. Then, as they get on their feet, then they teach others. There's a great example of people that like if you're a businessman in that country, you can usually do pretty good, but then a lot of people will just take that and just just keep it for themselves. And so what they're teaching people is that, hey, still live humbly, just like Jesus came and lived humbly in this world. Still live humbly amongst them, and then and help someone else along as well. Disciple them, teach them, show them God's love that God has shown to you. Show them that love unconditionally. Help them understand that, and then begin to build a generation of people walking in faith. And I think about the idea of discipleship and sacrificing it all, just like Jesus calls us to pick up our cross daily and follow Him. And so just that daily letting go, that's contagious. And as that spreads, then more and more people are drawn into that. So that's I kind of got a glimpse of that happening in that, which was really cool. So because it's so hard, especially for them when you've grown up with nothing, to have things, and to see people saying, "Oh, I don't really need that." And Pastor Jesner there sharing his tiny home, not much bigger than here to the wall and that wide, sharing it with someone else. You're like, don't you have enough space like for your bed? How are you going to share it? But he does, and that's really cool. So,
one quick question. And so 8 days, all came back healthy.
It all came back just fine. Yeah.
Okay,
so
changed.
Yeah, it's changed. Little things here and there. But no major sicknesses or anything. That one guy I think had diarrhea for a few days afterwards, and just some little things like that. Yeah, very good.
Can we give Adam a hand?